Hi, Brett.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. I love those socks.
Thank you very much.
I think that has to be our topic of discussion today. Do you always wear fancy socks?
Gosh.
Is that like a thing?
You know, I got these for our Christmas party this year because they matched my Christmas-themed tie and...
They all match.
But
I
it
love
also matches this pocket square, so I figured they worked.
It does work. It definitely is an eye catcher, but I love it. Some people have like a sock thing where it's like a everyday thing. They have to like match their socks with their outfits.
I try to match it to the pocket square if I'm wearing a pocket square.
I love it. I love it. So let's just get right into the nitty gritty.
Great.
I want to know first, what is the craziest or funniest thing you've ever witnessed or heard about in the courtroom?
Okay, so I was in a trial down in Pensacola, Florida, or actually this one might have been in Tallahassee, Florida, a couple years ago on a big products liability case, and the plaintiff's attorney was a Texas Southern gentleman who used a lot of folksiness in his presentation.
Y'all.
And wore cowboy boots in the courtroom. And
big hat.
really connected to the jury.
I love it.
There was a line that he said in his closing argument that was something along the lines of finding that piece of evidence back there was like finding a dog tooth in your chili.
Your accent is perfect.
Well, I did grow up in Georgia, so I'm a good mimic of...
Oh my gosh. My whole family's from Texas, so like East Texas.
Houston is where this guy's from.
Okay, so my family's from Texarkana.
Okay.
And when we go back there, my mom and dad's accent comes back right. That Southern drawl. And I was born and raised here in Las Vegas, but I try to have an accent I think when I go, because I'm like, what? I pick it up. Like, I have it too. But I don't. I try to. So let's see if I could do it. So give me some. So what's something they say down there? Bless your heart.
Oh, bless your heart.
Bless your heart. And doggone it.
So I grew up in Georgia, but in the suburbs of Atlanta, where most of the people I grew up with were not Southern, or at least were transplants from other parts of the country, which is true of me as well. So I did not have a Southern accent. My parents don't have one.
Oh, okay.
The reason I kind of adopted one is I started waiting tables in college, and what are y'all having is a good way to communicate to the people who are sitting at your table.
It's just so much easier.
That's what they want to hear.
Oh my gosh, it just rolls off. What y'all wants to eat? See, it comes back. What do y'all want? And it's a lot calmer, I think, too. I feel like a lot of the East Coast is like really rushed.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you go down south and it's like, how y'all doing?
Sure, yeah. It's friendly or fake friendly. It doesn't really
exactly.
matter which one.
You never know. You never know. All right, so from Florida, though, you said, how long did you live in Florida?
I didn't. I was living here in Las Vegas, but these were nationwide trials where they call them bellwethers. And so all of these 18 trials took place in Pensacola and Tallahassee for a products case.
Oh, wow. So did you just stay out there the whole time, or did you have to fly back and forth?
For that particular stretch, I was on the trial team, mostly writing stuff for back-to-back trials. So I was down there for about 4 weeks consecutively. And then over the course of a year, I was probably there 5 to 7 times for 3 to 5 days at a time.
That's a lot of traveling for one case.
It was fun. Fortunately, Pensacola is a really good food town. I got to the beach maybe twice in 40 days I was there, but that's better than being stuck in some cities. That should be illegal.
Like, if I'm in Florida, I'm going to the beach. I don't care what time it is. But I'm sure you get off and you're tired and you go and just crash.
You're there for work.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the people I was working with were nice people, and I had a lot of fun, but not at the beach.
not at the beach. Well, what time of the year was it when you were doing all of that? Because I know in Florida, I mean, there's a good time and there's a bad time.
For sure. I was there basically in all stages of the year, I think, over the course of the time I was there. The longest stretch I was there was probably, I think, late March, which I think actually timed up with college spring break, which made the entire experience even more miserable. And it rains every day in Florida. And so you're walking to and from the courthouse, and you have to have an umbrella because it can really ruin your day to have your suit just like soak through, especially when you are traveling and you're living out of a suitcase. You can't really afford to
dry clean like every day. Yeah.
But it was fun.
Well, good. I'm glad you had that experience. Would you trade it for anything else? If you could do it over and have like a different place to go, or?
No, I know. I loved it there. The food, like I said, was amazing. I grew up just north of there, so I was kind of familiar with those beaches in that area from
That's awesome.
being in high school and stuff.
So Atlanta is where you grew up?
That's correct.
For how long did you live there for?
I moved there in kindergarten, and I moved here after I graduated from law school. So I was there from the ages of like 6
Oh wow, so
to
you even went to
28.
law school out there as well?
Well, all over the state. I went to the University of Georgia and to Mercer, which are in Athens and Macon.
Okay.
But
I don't know anything about
Georgia.
Sure,
why would you? Why would you?
So what brought you out to Las Vegas?
I had a job interview from an attorney who has an office out here who went to the same law school. And I kind of just took the opportunity and the adventure to start fresh somewhere fun.
Okay, and was that your first law opportunity after law school, or were you?
Yeah, so I had a couple of internships in other fields or locations when I was in law school, but this is the first job I took when I graduated.
So you did not take the bar in Georgia?
No, I did not.
So you came to Nevada, took the bar, got a job, took the bar?
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. I love that. You've been here ever since?
Yeah, I've been here since 2014, so a full decade. And I met my wife here, who is from here, and she was on her way out of town, so I've kind of become her anchor.
Oh, wow. Why was she going out of town? Just wanted to get out? Because I know Las Vegans, when they want to get out if they once they can. So
yeah, I don't think it was negatively influenced. It's probably the same thing as me, just a new experience.
Okay. I remember when I moved away from Las Vegas, because I was also born here, it was a culture shock for me because I once moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, which everything closes at 10 o'clock.
Sure.
Even gas stations. So imagine going down a really dark road, gas light turns on, it's like 12 o'clock, midnight. I didn't know what to do. I pulled over, I started crying, had a panic attack. So yeah, it was a huge culture shock. Oh, and it was wintertime.
Sure.
Don't know how to drive in snow.
That's scary.
Never, ever have done that before. And lived on a huge hill. It was called Price Hill for anyone who lives in Cincinnati. And so it was on this huge hill. And so I was like, I just didn't leave the house for 3 months because I couldn't get down the hill.
Oh gosh. My family's from the Midwest, and I know what that is like. I was born there, but I left by the time I was 3. But visiting in the winter, it's just like there's no reason to go outside.
Brutal.
It's gray.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible. I would never move back. I'm sorry to anyone who loves the snow. It's not for me.
I love our blue skies in the winter.
Yes, I do too. But we do have almost like a icy, bone-chilling cold winter. It's different than some place like Florida.
Sure. Oh yeah. We don't have the humidity, so it's
the humidity.
Just
that's the word I was looking. I was like, we don't have the moisture. That's not what I was looking.
Yeah. No.
The humidity. Yes. So, do you have a favorite legal movie?
I have a few. First of all, I think a lot of people who go to law school have the experience that they actually show you a lot of clips of My Cousin Vinny in law school, because it's a great example of legal issues. It's definitely condensed, but I had this experience in criminal law and a procedural class. It's the only movie that they ever showed us clips of. It's not a habit of law school professors, I don't think. So it does kind of show some legal issues well. And then one that really stood out to me is not really a legal movie, it's a journalism movie. Spotlight has a thing where one of the lawyers tells a journalist that there are documents that are sealed that he's not allowed to give to him. However, they were filed with the court on redacted in a motion that he can just go find if he knows to look for them. And that is a thing that as a lawyer you learn to be very careful about what gets attached to your motions, because that can be very public. And you can put people's social security numbers and things like that, which is a big no-no. But also these redacted documents can just be public information all of a sudden.
Right, as soon as you hit that click button, it's public information.
Exactly.
Oh, that's why you have to have a good team as well, because your team is the one who does most of those redacting duties. So
yeah, it's all about redundancy. You want everyone to have the same understanding and goal.
Understand, yes, and like why you're doing it and the importance of getting it right.
Exactly.
And knowing it's done right, and if you do get it wrong, letting you know is the most important part, and dealing with it, because go under the rug is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I've been working here for 7 years, and so many things have been swept under the rug that we just could have been dealt with, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, there's the owning it thing, which it works best with the judge too. If you can step forward and say, I learned of the problem on this day, and that's the day that I endeavored to solve it.
It's being vulnerable. I think people,
yeah, once you make a mistake,
you got to become vulnerable and kind of put your tail under your butt and ask for help. And that's hard for some people, which hard for me still to this day. So yeah, I get that. Last question I have for you, Brett, is if you could give the people out there who are searching for car insurance advice, what would it be?
I think there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. First of all, the coverage, right? You want to make sure your vehicle is protected, because if you do get into an accident and it is your fault, that coverage is going to protect you from personal liability. And the state minimums are only $25,000 per injured person, which is not enough. If you can afford to pay for better insurance, you need to shop for what you can get and pay for that better insurance.
And what is that better insurance? Like what is it called? What can people get?
Well, there's different policy limits, and that's the lowest is the $25,000. You can pay for a policy where there's up to $100,000 of coverage for every accident per person. There's ones that go $300,000 to $500,000. Obviously, that decision is something that you have to make based on your personal finances, but it's not somewhere you want to be cheap, because when it does matter, it really matters.
That's an understatement for sure.
I was going to offer also, I think that it's really important to consider yourself, not just the risk that is posed, but if you get into an accident with someone who is underinsured, that doesn't mean they don't have insurance. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. But let's say they're driving a rental vehicle and there's only so much money to cover. You need to have what is called underinsured motorist coverage, and that is going to protect you and make sure you get the treatment that you need, that you're not left paying for medical bills that someone else caused. And that's something that I think a lot of people don't know about, especially when you're younger and you're first getting insurance. You think, I don't have money, I don't need to worry about this. Well, when it matters,
it's not explained really thoroughly to a lot of people who are searching. So, and it's just an extra coverage, like you said, if you're in a financial position to do so, don't be cheap, because it could cost you in the long run.
I've seen it really save people.
Yeah,
it can be.
I mean, it's saved me, to be honest, because I've been in an accident before where I was hurt. The person had minimal policy, and luckily I did have that extra policy on my insurance that I paid for. So I was able to get the treatment I needed, and I'm better, and I can move and dance.
That's great. And then there's one other thing that I would never have considered when I was first buying insurance that I think maybe only lawyers think about, which is you can obviously go through a number of insurance companies and get pretty much the same product. But what kind of service are they going to provide when you need them? And first of all, that's the claims adjusting. Are they going to be people who are actually out to help you? But also, what if you get sued? Who are they going to hire to be your lawyer? If you know lawyers, you can ask them, hey, who does this insurance hire to defend these cases? And you're going to get a wide range of answers. If you can find that out, I think it can be useful. It has changed my attitude towards who I'm going to use as my insurance.
Okay, that's good advice, to be honest. So if you have a local attorney, ask them who their insurance company uses as their attorney.